Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're sitting at a desk right now doing structured work inside a computer system, you need to hear this, because the ground beneath you is literally shifting. Today, we're breaking down a definitive, leaked roadmap that instantly changes how we should view every single office job. We aren't talking about some distant, vague prediction for the year 2030. No, we're going straight into the boardrooms to look at a highly specific, rapidly closing window of time that is going to redefine the white-collar workforce as we know it.
And that window, it's exactly 18 months. Now, this isn't just a number, it's a ticking clock. We have precisely 18 months until major structural automation really hits the white-collar sector. And I want to be absolutely clear right out of the gate, this timeline was not tossed out as a casual guess. It was given as an operational certainty. The clock has already started, and it's dividing the workforce right down the middle into two camps. The people who get caught off guard, and the people who see it coming and adapt.
So, who actually set this clock? Well, on February 13, 2026, Mustafa Suleyman, the CEO of Microsoft AI, sat down with the Financial Times and said this: white-collar work, where you're sitting at a computer, lawyers, accountants, project managers, marketing professionals, most of those tasks will be fully automated by AI within the next 12 to 18 months. Listen to that timeline, 12 to 18 months. And remember, Suleyman isn't some random trend forecaster. He co-founded DeepMind. He runs Microsoft AI. When a guy in that seat gives a timeline, he isn't guessing the future. He's reading internal enterprise deployment schedules. This is straight-up roadmap leakage.
And the thing is, Suleyman is definitely not a lone voice in the wilderness here. Industry leaders are completely aligning on this trajectory. You've got the CEO of Anthropic projecting that half of entry-level white-collar jobs will be eliminated in 5 years. The CEO of Ford is echoing that AI will cut white-collar employment in half. Sam Altman over at OpenAI is flat out saying AI will outperform top professionals. These are totally different companies, totally different incentives, but they are all pointing in the exact same direction. The question is no longer, is this real? The only question that matters now is, what do you do next?
Okay, Section 1. Evidence of arrival. Let's look at what's actually happening on the ground.
Because, it's one thing to hear CEOs talk about the future, but it's another thing entirely to watch the structural replacement of human capital happen right before our eyes. The 18-month clock isn't waiting to start. The alarm is already ringing. To really grasp the scale of this, just look at this number, 30,000. Since late 2025, Amazon alone has eliminated roughly 30,000 roles. That was 14,000 cuts in October, followed by another 16,000 in January. And guys, this was not a slow, agonizing period of standard economic downsizing. These cuts were rapid, and more importantly, they were structural. They represent a fundamental shift in how the company runs its internal machinery.
Let's separate the myth from the reality here. Who exactly is getting let go? Well, it's not the warehouse workers. It's not the delivery staff. The physical world executioners are completely safe from these specific cuts. The targets are corporate. Take Amazon's Alexa division, for example. They reportedly shrank from hundreds of engineers to just a few dozen in a matter of weeks. That isn't just downsizing a struggling department. That is structural replacement. The cognitive digital tasks are literally being handed over to the system. And they aren't even trying to hide it. The Amazon CEO recently stated very clearly, as we roll out more generative AI, we will need fewer people doing the jobs being done today. That sentence right there, that is the operational, real-world manifestation of the Microsoft AI prediction. They are telling investors straight up that the integration of generative AI directly correlates to a reduced need for traditional white-collar human labor.
Amazon is by no means an isolated case either. Look at the broader data. Over 78,000 global tech layoffs were recorded in Q1 2026 alone. And here's the absolute kicker. Nearly half of those were tied directly to AI-driven efficiency. This massive wave of layoffs proves that the enterprise integration of AI is already displacing workers at an incredible scale. The automation wave isn't on its way, it's here, right now, sweeping through the tech sector and getting ready to spill out into every other industry.
Which brings us to Section 2, automating the thinkers.
You might be wondering, why are highly educated white-collar professionals, the folks who always thought their degrees made them untouchable, the primary targets? Well, let's look at those vulnerable roles we mentioned earlier. Lawyers, accountants, marketers, project managers. These aren't low-skill jobs, right? They require deep education and intelligence. So why them? Because they all share one absolutely critical trait. Their work lives inside systems. They operate through documents, spreadsheets, dashboards, digital workflows. And the harsh reality is, whatever can be modeled inside a digital system can be automated. AI is already drafting legal contracts, automating accounting reconciliation, optimizing marketing copy, and tracking project workflows at scale. And this brings us to a concept you really need to understand. pure automation. You often hear this very comforting story that, oh, AI won't replace jobs, it's just going to transform them, kind of like the Industrial Revolution or the Internet did. But those historical technologies replaced physical or repetitive labor. Pure automation is the complete replacement of cognitive, thinking work. We're talking analysis, decision-making, synthesis. This isn't just an assistive tool helping you type a little faster. It is replacing the very thinking layer that white-collar workers previously thought was entirely safe. All right, Section 3, the 56% premium. Let's flip the script and look at the upside.
I know all of this sounds pretty daunting, but buried inside this massive corporate shift is a highly lucrative upside. If you understand the mechanics of what's happening, there is unprecedented opportunity here. I want you to burn this number into your memory. 56%. That is the massive wage premium for workers who know how to use and direct AI tools compared to their peers who don't. Imagine two people in the exact same role at the exact same company. One actively leverages AI to scale up their output, and the other relies on traditional methods. The difference in their market value is a staggering 56%, and that gap is only getting wider as AI capabilities compound.
So what we're really witnessing isn't just job loss. It's a radical job separation. The workforce is basically bifurcating into two distinct categories: the worker replaced by the system and the worker directing the system. Execution, the manual generation of code or copy or spreadsheets, that's all being automated. But direction, knowing exactly what to ask the AI, how to stitch its outputs together, and how to actually drive business value, that is being massively rewarded. And we can see this exact dynamic playing out at the enterprise level right now. IBM, for example, recently paused hiring for standard, traditional roles, but simultaneously they actively expanded hiring for AI-augmented positions. This brilliantly illustrates our new reality. The door to corporate employment hasn't closed, it's just changed shape. Companies do not want to pay for manual execution anymore, but they are absolutely desperate for and totally willing to pay a premium for people who can direct AI to achieve massively scaled results.
Section 4, your next move. Let's talk about what you actually do with all this information.
We've seen the timeline, we've seen the evidence, the vulnerable roles, and the upside. Let's break down exactly how you should act on this incredibly urgent timing problem. There are 3 distinct signals you need to act on right now. First, for your career. Stop resisting AI and start controlling it. Transition your skill set from manual execution to AI direction. Almost every job has replaceable components, but the director's seat is where the premium lies. Second, if you're an investor, watch for corporate hiring freezes. The efficiency from enterprise AI deployment always shows up in company margins way before the wider market reacts. And third, for the operators and business owners out there, you must implement AI right now. Your competitors are not waiting around. Every single month you delay isn't neutral. It mathematically compounds your competitive losses.
Let's pull this all together by looking back at the timeline. Late 2025 gave us the first undeniable evidence with Amazon's 30,000 corporate cuts. Then, in February 2026, the Microsoft AI CEO leaks the 18-month operational roadmap, which means by August 2027, that 18-month window for systemic adaptation completely closes. The automation will be structurally baked into enterprise systems by then. Look, this was never shared to scare you. It was shared to define the window. It's a timing problem, and timing problems can be acted upon if you move fast enough.
We've covered a lot of ground in this explainer, from boardroom roadmaps to the very real, shifting sands of the corporate world. But I want to leave you with a thought that should make you sit up and reevaluate everything about your current trajectory. Every job has an expiry date. What is yours? Are you going to be the one replaced by the system, or are you going to be the one directing it? It's time to decide.